You've had tempered enthusiasm about the possibility of Ben coming back, from the beginning, but with him ramping things up to give him an opportunity to potentially play, what was just your feeling, your vibe when it needs to be sort of back?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really expecting him to play. I was, like we've said all along, where he's trying to improve. He's working through it. Reports that he was playing was from the outside. I don't know where that came from. So we kind of stick to what we've always said. He's still building himself up, still working through things, still trying to get strong enough and put himself in a position to play.
There's a physical challenge, obviously, on the floor with what the Celtics bring. How would you describe the mental challenge, not just the task to get on the floor, but mentally in an 0-3 hole?
Sure. I think that's, can go two ways. It can be in some ways liberating, and it can be in some ways arresting. So it's about our approach and our mentality. And if we're, liberated by the possibility and the opportunity to go out and win a game on our home court, having a great performance is what we're looking for. Results are secondary to doing the things we've worked on and talked about. And for our group, there's a big mental component about it all being brand new. They haven't been here before. They haven't experienced these things and these moments together. So, that's always a component of it. So you hope that you add all those things up and we're able to put ourselves in a really good position mentally to approach this thing, knowing that we're not going to all of a sudden put together years of common experiences. That's okay. That's okay. Let's stay with it. Let's have a great attitude and mentality and go out there and play our best game.
Steve, as far as Ben goes, where does he stand right now as far as possibly playing in Game 5 if you guys can extend the series?
I don't know. I think it's the same as what I told you yesterday. See how he progresses and see if there's an opportunity for him to play at some point in the series if we go on. So I really don't have an update that's different from prior days.
I know you said that.
Do everything yesterday and today, or was he limited?
I can't remember. Really, what happened yesterday, Aaron? I mean, I'm trying to coach the.
He didn't have a workout yesterday because he played on Saturday. So
yeah, that's right. Saturday he had a workout. Yesterday it was recovery. So.
Is he? I know you've said all along that when you're trying to come back from something like this, it's not linear and there'll be fits and starts. But is it fair to say he had been making progress pretty much since the epidural? This would be his first legitimate setback since then. Is that a fair statement?
I guess I don't know. I mean, it's. I'm not sure. Setback's the right word. I don't know what we're calling it. He's still trying to strengthen and put himself in a position to play. He could feel great today. He could feel poor tomorrow. I just think that's the landscape we're in with his back. Is that he's made progress, but day to day, some days are better than others.
Does this, from an organizational point of view, does this increase the likelihood of him needing any kind of procedure in the summer?
No, I don't think so. I think the growth he's had recently shows that, we're thinking, predominantly that he's getting there. And, whether he's able to feature in these playoffs or not, he has the entire summer until training camp to get himself right. So I don't think there's a procedure being discussed right now.
Is it disappointing? Was he supposed to do anything today, and is he going to be unable to do that, or is he able to do whatever he was?
I think he has to be. I think he's just got to be evaluated by the performance team, and then they'll go from there. So if he's able to do something, he'll do it. If they decide that let's push it for another day, they'll do that. But I think they're going to evaluate him, and that hasn't happened yet.
Is it disappointing considering when you acquired him, you didn't think that there was going to be a back issue coming up and you wanted to see how he would look with this group? Is it disappointing that you won't even get a chance to see that possibly at all? Because it doesn't sound like there's a realistic chance or a probable chance of him playing in this series at all.
Yeah, I'd be very careful that disappointed doesn't get taken out of context. Of course, we're all disappointed. We would love to see Ben on the floor with our teammates, but I don't want it to be taken that I'm disappointed in Ben or anything like that. No, back is his back. We got to work through this, and he's got to continue to fight as all guys do when they're returning to play. But yeah, of course, we'd love to see Ben with our guys.
Steve, obviously, he was excited about the possibility of playing, and he never said for certain he would play in Game 4, but you've been around him the last few days. Is he down in the dumps? Is he feeling bad that he isn't out there able to help?
I haven't gotten any read on that from him. No.
Even superstars have tough stretches, and Kevin acknowledged after the last game that he's in his head a little bit, and he's kind of taking himself out of it game away by forcing to get others involved. Did you experience that during your career, and
Yeah.
from a coaching standpoint, how do you help Kevin?
Yeah.
get through that?
I think, players always have, patches where they struggle mentally, and it can be difficult for a player at any level. When it's one of the best players to ever play the game in a playoff moment, it's more painful for Kevin. But he's been here before. He's come out of it every single time. He's always answered the bell. I go back to wanting Kevin to have as much freedom mentally to play, and that's something that he has to work through. We want to support him, we want to help him, but the team game has to improve. It's not all about Kevin. It's about us, limiting turnovers, getting back in transition, rebounding. Those are the things that I think have decided games 1, 2, and 3. It's not just Kevin's efficiency. So I think it's for me, we got to also protect him too. This isn't all on Kevin. This is on our team's ability to continue to grow. We're a new group. We're trying to figure things out. We're extremely small without Ben and Joe. How can we mitigate some of those risks with our size and how new this is to everyone, and win the game in multiple ways, not just by Kevin Durant having to have a prolific game.
There was a point, I think, in the second quarter of Game 3 where Bruce, I think, had 10 or 11 shots. KD had like 3. Mm-hmm. When there's a player who's not known for scoring that's taking all those shots, do you pull him and say, hey, I know these are open, but do you swing it just to keep the flow of the offense, to get the ball to guys, even though that's what Boston wants?
We've worked with Bruce, and Bruce has done a really good job this year. This is nothing new that they're going to load up to Kevin Durant and Bruce is going to get the ball. So we've worked with Bruce on what are good shots, bad shots, and he doesn't get it right every time, but Bruce has gotten really good at it, and that's why Bruce has had an incredible game 2 and 3, because he's gotten so good at playing off Kevin, playing off Kai, finding the gaps, knowing that they're going to leave him. I mean, Bruce is also shooting 40% from 3, so Bruce has done a great job. Would we like Kevin to get more shots? Of course, but when Kevin makes a pass to Bruce, we're trusting Bruce to make good decisions, and generally he's been making great decisions and producing for us.
How difficult is it? Some people on the outside just look at it and say, well, why can't you guys just get Kevin open? Run Kevin off his feet and get him open. Mm-hmm. How difficult has Boston made even those simple actions?
Well, of course, they switch everything. They have size at every position, so they can switch, and then they can sit in their zone. I know it's probably not technically a zone, but that's essentially what it is when they halt a team's actions, switch everything, and then you're left to try to beat someone off the dribble, and they're packed in. So that is the mechanism that presents different challenges than when you're playing other teams. Other teams, some switch on the ball, some switch nothing, some switch on and off like Boston does, but not many commit all the way like that as Boston do, because of their personnel, and they're big and good defenders and intelligent, and so that's the issue. But like I said, we knew that coming in the series. That would be a challenge. We've actually scored at a higher rate in this series than we have in the regular season. So it's a matter of having perspective on where are we getting beat, where's our low-hanging fruit, and I think it's more cleaning up some certain things as far as turnovers and defensive stuff. So that is the perspective that I think we lose a little bit, because we don't see Kevin Durant averaging 40 a night.
Steve, thank you. Do you think it's fair for outsiders to judge KD where he is in his career, and maybe he's not at the pinnacle anymore off of 3 games? I mean, 3 difficult games where you guys haven't been together.
Look, if Kevin doesn't score a bucket tonight, I think it would be perilous to say Kevin Durant's apex is behind him. He has been unbelievable this year, unbelievable, and so he's carried a huge burden for us, particularly coming off a 7-week absence. Think about that. That's not easy to come back from a knee situation. You missed 7 weeks. He fought to come back. He comes back. Then he has to play 40-plus minutes a night, defend and protect the rim, score prolifically, lead his team. That's a lot of burden. So if it culminates in a patch of play that's unlike Kevin, we have to have perspective on part of the ingredients that are there and why. Is Kevin Durant going to be, apex Kevin Durant? Not far from it. going forward. Like for me, like there shouldn't be I don't see any drop off for Kevin next year just because he's had 3 games that don't look like his best games. Like that is not the case. He's just going through a period where, like you said, he's struggling a little bit. They're posing a unique challenge to our team, and he's had a heavy burden. So Kevin Durant is still unbelievable and has been unbelievable for us. And this week won't change that in my eyes.
Thank you.